We've been having discussions about what it means to work in the religious space.
Yeah.
Within the LGBT space, religious leaders have been a key force in driving the anti-gender movement, the anti-LGBT movement. We see this happening in Kenya. We see really troubling developments in Uganda. What does it mean to work in that space?
Interesting question. I will begin with what the context presents. So the context, one, what it gives you a script that you must live. That for a man or for a boy, this is what it means to be a boy. And part of what it means to be a boy is to love girls, is to run after girls. And it means to dress in a particular way. It means to act in a particular way. And so you begin growing, and that's the script you find. And that's what you believe is normal. But deep down, you realize that that's not who I am. I can't play this script because that's not who I am. I am different. I can't behave like a boy. I should behave like that script says. And so as you grow up, the first thing you realize is that there's something wrong with me. And so it begins to get to levels where people talk about it. And so you kind of say, yeah, I know it's me they're talking about. So it comes with low self-esteem. Then it comes with hiding. And then it comes with other things. Sometimes it even comes with like a thought of harming yourself because you feel like I'm an outcast here. Basically because of the script that you're born and you found that this is what is existing and this is how boys should be. So you go to church every time and the only sin the pastor talks about is homosexuality. And they keep saying some things like Sodom and Gomorrah, Paul says what, who does what. And so you leave your community where you already feel you are so much an outcast. You go to a place you feel church, there should be love, there should be fairness, there should be equality. And in church, you get the heaviest clobber. That so you're a sinner, you're hellbound, and all these things. And then so because that's what you grow up with, you believe it's true. You believe that that's something that there's something wrong with you. And so beginning to undo that is a process. But as you undo that, there is also a legal context. There is a political context that issues of LGBTIQ plus are used for political mileage. People bringing bills towards the election. And because they know the community, the scripts there have allowed that hating homosexuality or hating and hurting LGBTIQ plus people gives you mileage politically. So they use it as a political, something for political mileage. And so growing up, you're also in that context. And then the law begins to say that you're criminal. You're just a criminal for being who you are. You haven't hurt anyone. You haven't said nothing to no one, but you're just a criminal. If you go to many African histories, sex and sexualities and sex talks and kinkiness were things that people did so openly. It wasn't something to be ashamed of. And so contact with Western missionary enterprise that came to Africa begins to tag some of those things as barbaric, as awkward. So attaching shame to it, so that then sex and identities do not become a thing to celebrate. It becomes a thing to be ashamed about. And so I would begin that with contacts to Western missionaries, to Arab traders, that then brings the language of shame to sex and sexuality and expressing it publicly. So then it removes sex from and sexuality from a public space and throws it to something private, something you need to be ashamed about.
So African people, and I'm going to be bold. African people are spiritual people. In actual fact, we are spirit. Because our first form of existence is to be called umuntu. Muntu, the Bantu, Abantu, Abanobuntu. Yes? And this phrase, we find it throughout the continent. Yeah? The core of that is the last part, the Ndu, which you see in Umuntu, in Abantu, and Ubuntu. And the Ndu is the spirit. And it is the thing that connects all of us. Yeah? And we talk about this, the spirit of Ndu, which is in each of us. And it is a thing that we try to use to find our being and our connection, to undo that initial script. And so it's a complicated thing, because a lot of people now, because of the other script is a very strong script, right? And if we talk about spirituality is also a very powerful thing. And it's a powerful thing that we can actually use to galvanize or to mobilize against other forces. But it becomes scary for many African people, because the script that we received made us believe that when we focus on our spirituality of Ndu, we are ungodly and unchristian. Yeah? That's why it would be scared, like, oh, this person is a sangoma. Stay away. This person is, they've gone to Twasa, they've gone to, to the bush to go and learn, and we're scared of that. Yeah? Because the other script says the best way to be civilized is to take the script of the colonizer, of the Western person.
In many African languages, we don't share so many things in our languages, but the concept of Mtu, it's all over Africa. In Kenya, we say Mtu.
Yes.
And so it's interesting.
It's a very tricky thing. So I always have to locate myself in two different spots. One as a person who is critical of many of the things that I see in the world, and trying to offer alternative ways of seeing, but also as a person who exists in society and having to deal with these things on a daily basis, right? So as that person, yes, the acronym LGBTIAQ+, okay? At some point, well, when I started my activism, Monica will attest, it was actually just the G. And then the gays were like, okay, well, there are these women who are actually irritating, so let's include them. Then the L came, So gays and lesbians, And then it's like, oh, there's some people who are here who are actually attracted to both of us. Okay, so let's have the LGB. And then over time, it's like, oh, what's happening now? Why do we see these L's who are moving themselves towards the G's? What's happening? And then T. And this is a very simplistic way of putting it, because we know that actually, historically, trans was always there. But I'm also trying to show the ways in which this acronym has actually has invisibilized and erased certain lived realities. So there's a reason why the word gay floats around more than others. And it's mostly because gay is associated with the white male able-bodied, and we have to talk about that, and that power, the power of the circulation of that word. But anyway, so the point I'm trying to make is that the acronym keeps growing. And in its growth, what is happening with it is that the differences become less visible. Yeah, lesbian struggles are no longer visible. Trans struggles will disappear because now what is happening is that, in actual fact, in that term, we rarely even talk about the I. Yeah, in actual fact, LGBT has nothing to do with I. Yes, we don't even know how to engage with that. Okay, A, we're not even saying A's because we're like, what is the point of your existence? Because remember, all of us, the three of us here, are linked together by sexual orientation and sexuality. And now there's A. How? How can you be asexual in this space? Okay. And then the P is like, you are pansexual. Okay, fine. We'll let you in. Okay. And then the Q, which I will come to. And then we got like, okay, we don't know anymore. Let's just say plus. In other contexts, there's 2 at the top, LGBTQIA+, and then there's a 2, meaning two-spirit. This acronym, as I said, has invisibilized lived realities. So LGBTIQA+ is supposed to be the same all over the world. How is that possible?
No, it's not possible.
You live in a rural context in Kenya. Like, how can your struggles be the same as somebody living in Amsterdam? There is no way. Yeah. And so there's that invisibility of the particularities of our struggles. There's also the way in which that term has traveled from elsewhere, and we've just had to take it on. Yeah. I mean, many people actually don't even know how to say LGBTQIA+. The late Nyavanga Wainana said, he used to say, this acronym, these people of the acronym, and would say, you are all ligibits. Ligibits. Yeah, and I like that because it's like, we have to make meaning of what this thing is.
Yeah.
Like, why are we an acronym? Why are you MSM? Why do you accept to be MSM?
Yeah.
You know, so we cannot be an acronym. And why I like referring to Pinyabang is, but he said you need to, you know, if you want to identify yourself, you need to have a thing that makes meaning. So you are going to be a ligibit. We are all ligibits.
I feel that struggle because connecting it to what you're asking about coming out, I was like, so I come out as who to who? But then for me, I was like, okay, so am I bisexual? I don't know what that even means. And then so to be safe, I'm saying like I'm queer because that is a bit clouded. People don't know what it means. And then now like I'm gay. So what I did to myself, I said I'm not coming out. I am coming home to myself. And so just accepting that whatever thing I am, that is me. And I don't care about anything else. What I want to do with it, I am home with myself. I don't need any letter to define me. I don't need any scripture, any script. I'm just home with myself. Yeah. So it's no longer coming out, it's coming home to me.
Yes, yeah. That's beautiful. So coming home. Some people also say the critical version is that you're actually coming into this category. Yeah. And that's why, and that's the power of this idea of coming out.
Indeed.
You're not coming out to the world, you're actually coming into a closet of LGBT.